class. Welcome to another week here at Beetle University. I hope you all had a very nice Halloween, and I hope you're enjoying November so far. This week we're going to be talking about two songs, both from the non-film side of the Help album, and a couple of these tracks wound up in a couple different places in the United States. The first one is called Tell Me What You See, which was written by Paul McCartney in early 1965 for possible inclusion in the Help movie, but by the time they got around to selecting songs for the movie, they had way better songs than this. And this is a pretty good song. In early 1965, after they recorded You've Got to Hide Your Love Away and a Ringo song called If You've Got Troubles that wound up being unreleased, they did a real quick recording of Tell Me What You See, which was all Paul McCartney, written by him when the Beatles were on vacation at the very beginning of 1965, knowing that they were going to have an extremely busy year. Paul says it's not very memorable. I tend to disagree because it's a very good deep cut Beatles song. Real quick studio session. They were getting really, really good at being able to write songs, figure out how they want to record them, finish them, and move on to the next song. They never performed Tell Me What You See live. There's a lot of songs from this era that they did that with. First, they recorded the backing track, which is Paul and John singing harmony vocals, and then Paul recorded the lead vocal. It was around this time that they discovered that they could now harmonize with themselves, thanks to multi-tracking and modern technology. They were thrilled by this, and over the years, they worked on it very steadily. There's a lot of different combinations. They added an electric piano onto the track, Paul McCartney playing the Hohner pianette, which is a new toy for them in 1965. There's also what's listed as Latin American percussion, which is Ringo on the clavs, which are those two sticks that they bang together, and Paul on the gyro, which is that wooden thing that you kind of scrape. There's also a tambourine overdub on it. In 1965, there is a ton of tambourine. The song Tell Me What You See wound up on Beatles 6 in the United States on the Capitol record, which actually came out before the movie, and the soundtrack for the film actually came out. And even though it's not very memorable, as Paul says it, it is still a new viewpoint of love where he's specifically asking for the viewpoint of the other person. They were always evolving, even in these tiny little steps. Another big step is the other song we're going to talk about this week, and it's I've Just Seen a Face. Now, it's from the Help album, again, the non-film side of the soundtrack in the United States, in the United Kingdom. But in the United States, it's the first track on Rubber Soul, which totally changes the whole dynamic of the Rubber Soul album. We could talk about that for ages. This is a Paul song that he had the tune from a real young age, and he used to play it on the piano, and his Aunt Virginia, also known as Auntie Gin, really liked the song. And for a while, it was called Auntie Gin's Tune. On June 14th of 1965, a real big important day for the Beatles, they recorded I've Just Seen a Face first thing in the morning. After that, they recorded the song called I'm Down. Later on in the day, they recorded the song called Yesterday. It was a really good day, an outstanding Monday. I've Just Seen a Face is all Paul. He calls it his fast country folk song, and it's the first Beatles song that is all acoustic. There are three guitars played by George, John, and Paul. George plays the 12-string, in which he sort of plays the bass line. Paul and John have the standard 6-string acoustics, and they strum throughout the whole song. Ringo plays jazz brushes on a snare drum. That's jazz brushes are those little drums that the drummers use. The Beatles call them jazz brushes. I'm not sure what they're actually called. It's probably just brushes. When they did overdubs, Paul added a second guitar in the intro, as well as some occasional overdubs throughout the song, and when he sang his vocal, he did the same. Again, they had just learned that they could now sing with themselves, and they were fascinated by this possibility. Paul uses some internal rhyming in the song. This is Bob Dylan influence. He rhymes face and place. He also has an interesting way of delivering the song, where at the end of each line, he goes directly into the next line, and then he talks a little bit slower at the end of a line, and then he talks a little bit faster at the beginning of the line. These are what Paul McCartney refers to as the Dylan tools. Again, the song was never performed live by the Beatles. George Martin did an all-instrumental, an instrumental album with most of the songs from the Help soundtrack, and when he did this one, he titled it Auntie Gin's Tune. That is it for another wonderful week here at Beetle University. Thank you a million, billion, trillion times over. We're getting near the end of our official Beetle learning. We'll have to figure out what to do after that. Thanks a million times over. Everybody, have a good day.